Okay. Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you for joining. We're here again tonight. I am so excited. So, we are going to be doing episode 2 of Why Are So Many People Sick Today? Why Are So Many People Sick Today? Episode 2. And so, we're going to jump right in. So, today we will be treating the topic insulin resistance. Okay, which is the silent driver of diseases. And the focus is going to be on diabetes, obesity, cholesterol, and why they often travel together. Many times we think these are all different illnesses, but tonight we are going to be examining that. Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Dr. Olubumi Balaji. I'm glad you are here. Tonight, we are talking about something that quietly drives a lot of what we see today: insulin resistance. If you're struggling with weight that won't budge, numbers that keep creeping up, blood sugars, hemoglobin A1C, triglycerides, blood pressure, this may be the missing link. Now, quick disclaimer: this is for education, not a personal advice. Always speak with your clinician about your own plan. Okay, now here's what we'll cover in the next few minutes: what insulin is and what insulin resistance really means, how it connects diabetes, obesity, and cholesterol, signs you can actually look for, what to do, practical, realistic steps you can start as soon as this week. If you're live watching here, I want you to type live in the chat and tell me, what are you here for? Blood sugar, weight, cholesterol, or all three? So let's keep it simple. Insulin is a hormone made by your pancreas. Its main job is to act like a key that helps sugar, which is glucose. When we say glucose, sugar, it means the same thing. Move from your blood into your cells, where it can be used for energy. Now, insulin resistance means the lock on the cells, they get rusty. And the key, which is insulin, doesn't work as well. So your body does what any smart body would do: it makes more insulin to force the job to get done, which is to drive glucose into your cells for energy. So early on, your blood sugar may look normal, but your insulin level is high behind the scenes. And that's why insulin resistance can be silent for years. Think of insulin like a delivery truck, right? It's trying to deliver fuel to the cell, but the cell is saying, we are full, we're not taking deliveries easily. So the body sends more trucks and traffic increases. That traffic is high insulin that causes problems all over the body. Now, if you're still here, I want you to type key in the chart if this makes sense. Insulin is the key. Resistance is the rusty lock. Now, why it matters? It's not just diabetes. Most people think insulin resistance equal diabetes. No, no, no. It is bigger than that. Insulin resistance is often the root of, are you ready? Prediabetes and type 2 diabetes, weight gain, especially belly fat, high triglycerides, and low HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol, fatty liver, high blood pressure, even issues like inflammation, cravings, energy crashes, brain fog. So when you see diabetes, obesity, and cholesterol problems together, it's not random. It's often the same underlying engine, the same condition. And here's the key point: insulin resistance is a process. Diabetes is often the end stage of that process. So, if we catch the process early, we can often change the direction. So, we're going to be talking about how insulin resistance drives weight gain, which we'll call obesity today. So, let's talk about weight because so many people feel discouraged here. But sometimes it's not entirely your fault because when insulin is high, your body is more likely to do the following: store fat, hold on to fat, increase hunger and cravings. Hey, because insulin is a storage hormone, and when it's elevated, most of the time, your body is basically being told store energy and save it for later, even if you are trying hard. That's why someone can be eating less and trying different diets and still feel stuck because the body is fighting them hormonally. Also, high insulin can lead to reactive low blood sugar. You eat something sugary or refined, and your sugar spikes. Then the sugar drops fast. And what happens next? You start to feel shaky, irritable, tired, and you crave more carbs. And that cycle continues to run the whole day. Now, have you ever felt an energy crash 1 to 3 hours after eating and you're hunting for more snacks? If yes, I want you to type crash in the chat box. Next, we're going to be digging into how insulin resistance affects cholesterol. Now, the pattern matters. Let's connect insulin resistance to cholesterol because this is where many people get confused. Insulin resistance often creates a very specific pattern: high triglycerides, low HDL cholesterol, which is the level of your good cholesterol. And though your LDL, which is your bad cholesterol level, may be normal or high, but the particles can become smaller and denser, which can be problematic. And so, when insulin is high, the liver starts packaging more fats into the bloodstream, raising triglycerides, and so the HDL, the good cholesterol level, drops. So if you have been told your triglycerides are high and your HDL, which is your good cholesterol, is low, I want a light bulb to go off. Insulin resistance, which may be the bigger story here. This also helps explain why some people improve their cholesterol dramatically with lifestyle changes that target insulin, sometimes even before major weight loss happens. Now, the progression is that from insulin resistance, you go to prediabetes and then finally to type 2 diabetes. Let's walk through the typical progression in plain language. I'm going to explain. Stage one is insulin resistance. Insulin rises. Blood sugar may still be normal at this stage. Stage two, prediabetes. I don't know if your doctors are still doing, hey, you have prediabetes. The pancreas can't keep up forever. And so blood sugar starts running high. Fasting glucose creeps up, hemoglobin A1C rises, and then stage three, type 2 diabetes. Insulin production may drop over time, and blood sugar stays persistently high. Here's what I want you to hear. By the time diabetes shows up, insulin resistance has often been present for years, sometimes 10 years. And that's why early intervention matters. Now, if you've ever been told prediabetes or borderline sugar, I want you to type borderline in the chat if you feel comfortable. Now, signs and risks. We want to talk about the signs and the risk or the clues, but they are not diagnostic, but these are things that when you hear, the light bulb should go up in your brain and say, hey, insulin resistance. So let's talk about the clues that your body may be struggling with insulin. And they're very common. The common signs, they include belly weight gain. Back, where I'm from, people used to, think when you have big belly, you have money. Strong carb cravings, especially at night. Sleepiness after a meal. You eat and then boom, you fall asleep. Darkening of the skin creases around the neck and the armpit in some people. We call that acanthosis nigricans. Skin tags, fatigue, brain fog, difficulty losing weight despite effort. Now, what are the risk factors? Family history of type 2 diabetes, history of gestational diabetes or big baby pregnancy, PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, sedentary lifestyle, poor sleep, or if you've been told you have sleep apnea, chronic stress, highly processed diet pattern, which we see today. We're all very busy. Again, these are clues, not a diagnosis, but they tell us where to look. What to do is a simple insulin reset plan. Now, the most important part is what can you do? If you've been told any of the things that I've been talking about so far, I'm going to give you a simple practical plan. Simple, traditional, and proven. No gimmicks. Okay? So, step one, we're going to start with the plate, what we eat, which is the easiest with the highest impact lifestyle change. So, for most people, the biggest win is reducing the food that spike insulin repeatedly. Some of us, we like to snack all through the day. Gone were the days when they say 3 meals, 2 snacks. We don't need snacks. Sugary drinks, juices, sweetened coffee drinks. You want to cut them down. White bread, pastries, chips. Large portion of foods like rice, pasta, refined flour. So what do we want to do? We want to build meals around protein. Our chicken, our fish, eggs, Greek yogurt, beans, if you're able to tolerate it. You want to eat more fiber. We're talking about vegetables, leafy greens, your legumes, your berries. Also, the healthy fats in a reasonable portion. So things like avocados, olive oil, nuts. So a simple visual is, half your plate should always be non-starchy vegetables, half the plate. And then a quarter of the plate, your protein, and a quarter smart carbs, okay? And you start adjusting from there. When you talk about smart carbs, we're talking about the complex carbs. Step two is you walk after meals. This is old school. It works every time. After you eat your breakfast, your lunch, your dinner, you take a walk. 10 to 15 minutes walk after eating is one of the most underappreciated tools for insulin resistance. It helps your muscle to use glucose without needing as much insulin. So your body doesn't need to produce a lot of insulin to bring the sugar down. So if you do nothing else this week, I want you to do this. Step three, strength training, your metabolic saving account. So you want to build muscles, you want to lift weights, do resistant exercises. Muscle is a glucose sponge. The more muscle you have, the better your body handles sugar. So we want to build muscles, you want to lift weights, you want to do resistant exercises with bands, and you only need to do 2 to 3 times a week, 15 to 20 minutes. You can just lift the weight while you're watching TV. Just, your 2.5 pounds, squats, push ups, light weights. That's all that we need. And this we can do in the comfort of our own home. Step four, fix your sleep, because poor sleep makes insulin resistance worse. You want to make sure you're sleeping about 7 hours overnight. You want to aim for consistent sleep. If you snore and wake up tired or have high blood pressure, please get screened for sleep apnea. Sleep is not optional for metabolic health. It is needed, it is necessary. Step five, stress management. Because when your body is consistently under stress, cortisol goes up and it pushes up blood sugar. Deep breathing, prayer, meditation, journaling, outdoor chores, or walking. These are the things that we can do to manage stress. Step six is medical support whenever needed. So you talk to your clinicians. There are things that you can do. Sometimes lifestyle changes by itself alone is not enough. There are evidence-based options. Things like medication as well, like metformin, and like of course the GLP-1s of today that everybody is talking about, that can help based on personalized care, and evaluation by your clinician. And so I'm asking someone today, which step can you commit to this week? The plate, walk, lift, or sleep? I want you to type one word in the chat. Which one can you commit to? So let's wrap it up. Insulin resistance is the silent driver, but it's not a life sentence. When you understand the root, you stop blaming yourself and you start targeting the right system. Remember these three takeaways. Insulin resistance often comes before diabetes. It drives weight gain and the cholesterol pattern, especially triglycerides and the HDL cholesterol, which is your good cholesterol level. Small, frequent changes, food quality, walking, strength training, sleep can change your trajectory. If you want help creating a personalized plan, labs, nutrition strategy, and a step-to-step roadmap, my clinic can support you. We're located in Comac, New York. I want you to drop your questions and comments in the chat and tell me what it is that you're interested in. The blood sugar, cholesterol, prediabetes, again, insulin resistance, is the driver. And so what is the difference between insulin resistance and diabetes? Somebody may ask. I'm going to look at, I don't know, I see a lot of chats here. Thank you so much. The goal here is to educate you and me, educate us, so that we sit in the driver's seat of our health. We ask questions. Many times we think diabetes, high cholesterol, obesity are three different or separate diseases, but the driver is the same thing. And so if you tackle the root cause, you tackle all three. I'm going to go to the chat now to see if I can address any of our questions. Thank you so much once again. All right. Thank you. Thank you. I see somebody, I have some people, they wrote here. All right. The key, sleep. So insulin resistance happens beforehand. Yes, it does. And and it's usually ongoing for years. Now, when you go for your physical with your doctor, many times when the doctors actually do a physical, they don't check your insulin level. You can always request and say, can you do my metabolic profile? But unfortunately, I must warn you, not many primary care doctors are very comfortable uh, checking the metabolic profile. So it's always good to ask your doctor to check your metabolic profile. Because many times when you're trying to lose weight, to get to a goal and you're having difficulty doing that, don't think it's totally your fault. It's not always totally your fault. It's because you have not been able to understand what is going on behind the scenes. And once you start tackling that, you'll be able to see results. Is eating boiled egg for breakfast healthy? Absolutely. I had 3 eggs today for breakfast. And after I ate 3 eggs today, that was around I think around 2 o'clock this afternoon, and that was my breakfast. And I'm still full as I'm speaking. Yes, we can. If you're concerned about cholesterol, eggs are actually a great way to get your protein in the morning. Yeah, you can do 2 hard-boiled eggs. That is excellent. If you're very concerned about cholesterol, because the yolk is where, of course, you have the carbs and the cholesterol, you can also do egg whites. Eggs are usually like a very great way to get your protein in the morning. Doctor says it aids cholesterol. We still need cholesterol. So cholesterol, let me bust the myth. Is not the bad guy. Okay? Is the bad cholesterol level. Now, we still need cholesterol. We need the good cholesterol. Most of the hormones in the body needs cholesterol. Feel good hormone, the serotonin, dopamine needs cholesterol. So cholesterol is really not the demon as has been demonized, but it's the level of the bad cholesterol that we don't want to be elevated. And if you are active, you can have your eggs, 2 eggs every day. Yes, yes, you can. Either you want to do hard boil. The only thing that I would say is if you're frying your eggs, you may want to use like the spray and don't use a lot of oil because that's where a lot of calories can get into your eggs. But if you're boiling it, absolutely, eggs are a great way and a great source. Yeah. So thank you so much, everyone. Let me see if there's any more comments. Yeah, so I just want to encourage us. I want to thank everyone. I see some of my mommies that joined here from Nigeria. Thank you so much for staying awake, even to support us. We truly appreciate you. Again, I want to remind us what is important. All right. There are simple things that we can do. All right. I'm just going to address a couple of questions and then we're going to close. Thank you so much. I did ask, I said, what is the difference between insulin resistance and diabetes? Okay. And the truth is that insulin resistance is just when the insulin level, you know, rises and stays persistently elevated. Okay. And usually it's silent. You don't have any signs. You don't even know that is happening, but it's there. The process is ongoing. And diabetes, type 2 diabetes, is the end of the spectrum. That is when your doctor says, hey, your hemoglobin A1C is 6.5 and higher, or your fasting blood sugar now is 125 and higher. That is when type 2 diabetes develops. But again, why are we having this conversation? I'm very passionate about this because these are preventable. And especially for those of us who live in this part of the world where we're not very active, we are very busy, we live such busy lives, and sometimes we compromise our health. We don't want to wait until the doctor says, hey, you have high blood pressure. Now I've got to give you 3 4 medications to control your blood pressure. We don't want to wait until that. We don't want to wait until doctors say, hey, your cholesterol is so high. I want to give you 2 3 cholesterol pills to lower your cholesterol. When this is something that we can do with lifestyle changes. You don't want to wait until your doctor says, hey, now you have diabetes, and diabetes comes with a bunch of complications. You don't want to wait until then before you do something. You want to do something now. And that is the purpose of these conversations. And thank you so much. And I hope I'll see you again next week as we tackle episode 3. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful evening. Don't forget, let's pick 1 2 3 or 4 things that we can start to implement this week. And if you know anyone who needs a metabolic reset, who needs help, they can give us a call. Like I said, our office is located in Comac, New York, 631-486-4834, 631-486-4834. I hope to see you next week for episode 3. Thank you.